Okay, welcome to our second video in the How to Get Your Coder 3 project going. I'm starting out in Google Drive this time. In our last video we saw how to get data into Excel. Now we're going to get our data into Google Drive and make a graph out of it. So I'm starting out here. If you recall from the last video, I had a Excel file called weather data that I made from these text files. Now I only have 2 months worth. You're going to have a much bigger file with 12 months. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little upload arrow button right here next to create and select files. That's going to take me to my desktop. I'm going to click on the weather data Excel file and select open. Now I just want to make sure that this convert documents, presentations, spreadsheets, and drawings to Google Docs format box is checked. I definitely want to convert that. I don't want to leave it in Excel, and click start upload. Now I have a very small file here, so that's only going to take a second to upload. And now I'm going to select the file and open it. And here's my data. First thing we need to do is we need to make the B column, the dates, into actual dates. It sounds like it's going to be something time consuming, but I'm going to show you a great shortcut. It works in Google Docs and it works in Excel. So where this says 1, and I know this is January because I just, for information purposes, I put January over here. So I'm going to do 1/1/12, and you can see that Google Docs and Excel both know to change that into January 1st, 2012. Now I could go 1/2/12, and 1/3/12, and 1/4/12. You have a year's worth of data. That is going to take a long time, and you don't want to have to do that. So here's a better way. I'm just going to select, because I left off here, I'm going to select here. You could do it once you have January 1st inputted. You can click on January 1st. I'm going to select the day, the 5th of January. I'm going to delete the number 5, and I'm going to put in an equation. Now all equations in spreadsheets have to start with the equal sign. So I'm going to hit equal. And then I'm going to click on January 4th. In your case, you'll probably click on January 1st. And you'll notice right up here in this box, this is the equation editor, B7 popped in. That's B7, like you sank my battleship, right here, January 4th. And then I'm going to put +1. And Google Docs knows, and Excel knows, that that means add one more day. If you were just doing numbers without dates, it would know to add one number to it. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, but that doesn't save me any time because I got to write that equation in each time. No, you don't. So I'm going to click back on B5, or excuse me, it's box B8, where I had just wrote my equation, and you'll notice that it's outlined in blue, and in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little tiny square, and it makes that little crosshair when I go over it. I can left-click on that and pull that down, and it knows to drag the equation down to each date, and it changes it to the appropriate date. It even knows to go into February, and it'll even know that there's a leap year in 2012. So I gotta go one more. There. And see, that is easy. You can go all the way to the end of the year. You can just do one big long drag to the end of the year, and it will put the dates in for you. So that is a crazy great time saver. Now I'm gonna delete these 2 rows because they're in my way. And I'm going to select everything except those months. I don't care about the column A with the months in it, but I want to select the headings, the dates, the temperatures, select everything. One more. Oops, I didn't want to do that. And then I'm going to go to Insert and Chart. And a chart pops up. Okay, so now we've got our data and we've got a chart. This is our chart. We don't want this kind of chart though, we want a line graph. So what you're going to do, across the top, there's some tabs, and we're going to click on the Chart tab, and then it's going to let us choose what kind of chart we want, and we've got lots of options here. We're going to go with a line chart. Now this gives you the option of plain old line chart or smooth. I like the smooth, I think it looks a little better. So click on that, then click on the Customize tab. The Customize tab is going to let us name our titles and colors and dates and everything. So we're going to start right at the top. It says chart. We need a title for our chart. I think I have data here from Miami, Florida, so I'm going to do annual temperature of Miami. Florida. If I want, I can change the size of that. I can make it bigger. I don't need to. There's no reason to. I can change the color. I can make it whatever I want. Now this next one, legend, that's this thing right here. I can move it to different places around. I'll just drop it on the bottom. There's no particular reason to. You don't need to. I just did that to show you what it was. This is the font. I can change the background color if I want, make it gray. I don't know why I'd want to. I'm going to leave it white. Features, we're going to leave that alone. And we come to axes. So the first axis we're going to deal with is the horizontal axis. So right down here I can give it a name. The horizontal axis is the date, so I'm just going to title it date. And again, I could change the fonts and the colors. I could change this to make them slant if I want, but I don't. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little arrow, pull down arrow on the axis, and I'm going to change it to vertical. Now I can give the vertical axis a title. The vertical axis is temperature in Fahrenheit. I don't have the degree symbol, so I'm going to have to live without that. And then down here I put in the range. We're going to go -10 is the min, and we're actually going to put 120 in as the max. I know the directions say 110. Let's go with 120 there for the max temperature. Now, there was something here a minute ago that disappeared because I changed this to vertical. So I'm going to change this back to horizontal. And now it gives me these line options. Now, I personally think that the max temperature ought to be red. And I think that the minimum temperature ought to be blue. And I think that the average temperature ought to be green. I don't know why I think that, I just do. And then scroll down. I'm going to leave line thickness and point size all the same. If you wanted to show your actual points, you could do that, but don't. And error bars. I think, so I need to go back here and change this to vertical again. So I can see the grid lines. Now, you should probably drop in a major grid line every 10, and I'm going to make those a lot darker. And then I'm going to drop in some minor grid lines every 2, and then make those much lighter color, maybe even 2 notches lighter. There. So I like the way that looks. Makes it easier to read as a graph. Everything else I'm going to leave the same. These are all here, and I'm going to hit insert. Now, because I've only got a few columns here, when I insert it, I don't end up with a huge graph, but this is the graph. If you wanted to change anything, if you want to go back and change it, get this little pull down tab here, go to advanced edit, and you can go back to where you just were. This is what you'll be sharing to me. So to share it with me, you just go back out to Google Drives, check this box next to the file, go to this little person with the plus sign, click share, and then when this pops up, you're actually going to type in my email address, which is hughesb@Guilderland Schools, only 2 O's, schools.net, that one. And make sure you leave this on can edit. I need to be able to edit it so that I can share it with everyone else in the class. You can uncheck this. I don't need an email notification, and then just click save and share. Okay, and you are all set.